Hello students, welcome back. So today we are going to start a new topic. Before that, just have a quick recap. In the last lecture we were discussing about the classification, and we have done different type of classification, and among them 5 kingdom classification we are using here in our day-to-day life. So here we were talking about this 6 kingdom classification. In 6 kingdom classification, what he did, he had classified again into the 3 domain: archaea, bacteria and eukarya. Fine. So out of these 3 we have to cover these archaea as well as bacteria. Why? Because it is a part of Monera. So what he did, he divided Monera again into 2 domain. So in archaea we will study about the kingdom Archaebacteria. In bacteria you will study about the Eubacteria as well as Cyanobacteria, and the third domain is Eukarya, in which we will study about the rest of the kingdom. For example, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia. Here, fine. So up to here we start the first kingdom, that is Monera. So again we have done some characteristics. So on the basis of those characteristics, the Monera having different characteristics. Now cell type is of what? We have done that it's a prokaryotic. What type of cell? It's a prokaryotic. Fine. And the body organization is of what? Of unicellular. When you have to write about the characteristics, you will write one by one all the features. And what about the cell wall? Cell wall may be present or it may be absent. Generally it is present in form of peptidoglycan, but in case of when you will study about the Archaebacteria, the cell wall is absent. Fine. So cell wall may be present or may be absent, but generally it is present. And what about the nuclear membrane? We know that characteristics of prokaryotic, that there is no nucleus. Instead of nucleus there is a what? Is a nucleoid. So if nucleus is not there, it means that nuclear membrane will also be absent. So no nuclear membrane is there. And mode of nutrition is what? It can be autotrophic as well as heterotrophic. Generally there are heterotrophic mode of nutrition, but sometimes in case of some photosynthetic they are having autotrophic mode of nutrition as well. So these are some basic things which we have covered already. Now we will start with the classification. Or again we have classified the kingdom Monera into 2 parts. What are they? Archaebacteria and the Eubacteria. What is the meaning of archaea? Something which are old. These bacteria are the old form of bacteria, and Eu means true bacteria, which are the modern bacteria. Fine. So one by one we will start with the feature of the Archaebacteria. Whenever we are talking about the old bacteria, so first characters, they can thrive in any harsh condition. It means that it can survive well in any stress condition, whether it is a high temperature, high soil or high salty condition. In any situation they can exist. Fine. And second feature of the Archaebacteria is cell wall. This is the again very important feature. The cell wall is absent in case of Archaebacteria, and it separates it from the Eubacteria, because there are 2 important differences between the Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. That cell wall is absent in case of Archaebacteria, while in case of Eubacteria cell wall is present. And this cell wall is present in form of what? In presence of peptidoglycan. Fine. So another thing about the Archaebacteria, they are also known as living fossils. Now what is the meaning of living fossils? These organisms which are present in the life form. For example, we can say that from the same period from where they are existing, so other organisms get extinct or they have modified into another feature, but these Archaebacteria have not changed from these course period of time. Whatever the feature they are having at the that period, they are continuing with the same feature. So we can say that Archaebacteria are the living fossils. Fine. Again, this is a very important question. Again, what we have done, we have classified this Archaebacteria into 3 parts or the 3 groups. Why? On the basis of their habitat, on the basis of their existence. We said that they can survive well in any condition. Fine. So on this basis we have done that halophiles. Halo related to what? Something salty. In any salt condition or a salty area they can be live. And phile related to what? Loving. So they are loving towards the salty condition. So those bacteria which can live very well in these areas, they are known as halophiles. And second one is thermoacidophiles. Again, name indicates thermo related to some temperature. Acid, those bacteria which can live very easily in the high temperature as well as in acidic environment. For example, we are talking about here those sources where there is very high temperature, so they can live it there also. Fine. And third one is methanogens. Methanogens are those bacteria which can live in the marshy areas. And as well as we can see the example in the ruminant animals. What are the ruminant animals? Like cattle, cow, buffalo, those who are chewing the curd. So what happens in their ruminants, these bacteria are there, and these bacteria are responsible for what? For forming the methane gas. That's why in the biogas plant, what is the main constituent? In the biogas plant, we are collecting the dung or the dung of the cow as well as buffalo or the cattle. Due to this, what will happen? There will be formation of methane gas, and we know that methane gas is what? It is like it will use as a fuel. So we can say that these methanogens bacteria are present in the ruminant of the are present on the ruminant animals. Fine, and we can use all these bacteria in our life also. These are some importance of these bacteria. Now, as compared to the archaebacteria, we will discuss about the eubacteria. Eubacteria, as we are saying, they are the true bacteria. The first feature is cell wall is rigid. It means that if cell wall is rigid, it is made up of some type of composition. That composition is peptidoglycan. So it is made up of two components, peptide plus glycan. Peptides are the group of amino acids. So 4 amino acids are there. What are they? L-alanine. Second one is L-lysine. And third one is D-alanine. And fourth one is D-glutamic acid. Fine. So these are 4 amino acids which is present in the cell wall. As well as along with this, what is there? There are some more components are there. For example, we can say N-acetyl muramic acid, and second one is N-acetyl glucosamine. N-acetyl glucosamine. So in short, we can say NAM here NAG. So this NAM and NAG along with these 4 amino acids is composition of the cell wall of eubacteria, or we can say peptidoglycan. Fine. And which is absent in case of what? In case of archaebacteria. Some of the components which are present here. Now the second point which I have written here, motile flagellum. If the bacteria is motile, so the motility is due to what? Due to the flagella or the flagellum. And in after this we will study about the different types of flagella which is present here on the basis of different number. Now here another point I have written here, eubacteria can be classified into 2 parts. What are they? Photosynthetic autotroph and chemosynthetic autotroph. What is the meaning of this thing? Photo means something related to light. By using light, they can prepare its own food. Why? Because whenever there is presence of some pigment, what is this pigment? Chlorophyll A is present. Due to this, what will happen? These bacteria can prepare its own food. And what are the examples here? Cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria is what? It's a type of eubacteria. And cyanobacteria is also known as blue-green algae. I am showing it here again. What is it? Cyanobacteria, which is also known as blue-green algae. Fine. So this is having chlorophyll A pigment. Due to this, they can prepare their own food. That's why this type of bacteria is known as photosynthetic autotrophs. Fine. Along with this, if you will see this different characteristics of cyanobacteria, it can be present in different forms. It can be unicellular, it can be filamentous, it can be colonial. So these are different types of cyanobacteria. And in your NCERT, it is mentioned that Nostoc and Anabaina. These are the example of cyanobacteria. And what are the useful thing about the cyanobacteria? These cyanobacteria can be toxic as well as non-toxic. So whenever we are talking about the toxic cyanobacteria, what are they? Have you seen that algal blooms which is present on the surface of the water? And these algal blooms, what they are doing? They are algal blooms. They can be toxic for the aquatic animals. Why? Because due to this algal blooms, there will be deficiency of oxygen, and the oxygen cannot be reached up to the aquatic animals. So that time this can be toxic for the aquatic one. Fine. So we can say this is the part of toxic one. And another one is the non-toxic, or we can say they are helpful for us. How? There are some more example of this cyanobacteria. For example, Nostoc. What is that? Nostoc. If you see again in your NCERT, there is one diagram which has shown that this type of structure. Fine. These are the characteristics of eubacteria, that the eubacteria are covered by some mucilaginous sheath. Around this, they are having some mucilaginous sheath, which is in a sticky form. What we are saying? Mucilaginous sheath. Fine. And between them, they are having some specialized cells. For example, they are having specialized cell which is known as heterocyst. These are present where? In the nostoc. So these heterocysts are helpful for the nitrogen fixation. We know about the nitrogen fixation, which is very helpful for what? For the fixing the nitrogen. So where they are fixing? In these specialized cell. So we can say this cyanobacteria are also helpful for what? For the fixing of nitrogen. And these are the part of photosynthetic autotrophs. Now another one is the chemosynthetic autotrophs. The name itself chemo. So it means that the inorganic thing, what they are doing, these bacteria are oxidizing the inorganic compounds, so that due to this oxidation they can use the ATP production. The ATP produced by this oxidation, they can be utilized by the bacteria. That's why they are known as chemosynthetic autotroph. Some of the examples are Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus. Now students, you have to learn, or you have to memorize all these examples, because these are important from the examination point of view. Here in case of photosynthetic as well as in the chemosynthetic. Now along with this, we said that eubacteria, the mode of nutrition can be autotrophic as well as heterotrophic. Here we are talking about what? Both are the autotrophic. Another mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. Whenever we are talking about the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, it means that they are dependent on the other organism for their food or for their nutrition. So here we can talk about some bacteria which present outside the body of the plant, or the animals, or the bacteria which is present inside the body. And when they are present on the outside, they can be as a parasitic as well as saprophytic. Again, in parasitic, what happens when they are attacking? They are taking nutrition by attacking the other organisms. So here in heterotrophic mode of nutrition, we are having another different examples. For example, different diseases caused by these bacteria, it comes under the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So like this, we have to study the difference between these two. One more difference between archaebacteria and eubacteria is that about their cell membrane. We know that prokaryotic is a unicellular or having single cell, so they are having some structure also. They are having cell wall which is absent here and which is present here, and below the cell wall there should be some plasma membrane. The plasma membrane which is present in the archaebacteria is different from the plasma membrane of eubacteria. And in any eukaryotic in eukaryotic cell, what happens? The plasma membrane is made up of phospholipid. Fine. So here in this case also, this is made up of phosphobilipid membrane, but in case of archaebacteria it's a mono layer, while in case of eubacteria it's a double layer, or we can say bilayer phospholipid membranes. Fine. And another important thing about archaebacteria, we are saying that these can be live in any condition. Why? Due to this their plasma membrane, because their plasma membrane is made up of some thick material or the lipid, and these lipids are of branch lipid. Due to this branch lipid, what will happen? It makes their body strong to survive in any extreme conditions. Clear? So these are some important thing about the whole Monera. And now from the next lecture we will start with the eubacteria, and in eubacteria we will study about the truly bacteria, or the bacteria structure of that bacteria. What is the structure of bacteria, how we can classify these bacteria on the basis of their shape, on their basis of size, on their basis of nutrition. We have to cover all these things. So that much for this lecture. Thank you.